You're not going to believe it. But on January 6th, another guy did a speech for a rally. It was the guy who did January 6th. You know, it's like a comeback tour. It's an hour and a half, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not sitting through all of it, nor would you. If you wanted to sit through it, you could. You can go find it. I tried listening to a bit of it. The problem is, Trump is, as much as we may sometimes forget, just as old as Biden. And it really, really shows. It's just Trump saying the same old shit. Yeah, that's the key thing here, okay? The main problem here is that a lot of what Donald Trump has to say is what he said before, and I have nothing to say in response to it. Maybe find a highlight video, or quite possibly a selection of curated Twitter clips that allow us to get the, you know, general vibe of the speech without committing to a 3.5-hour coverage of it that I can't do because it's nearly 10 p.m. Possibly. If only somebody had the foresight to do that. Ooh, there were a lot of bangers here. Wait, where's the thread? I was looking at a thread. Where's the thread? So right next to the Birch Gold Group, you know, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Donald Trump. I'm going to zoom in a second. You're going to see he looks like shit. He looks like dog shit. So we'll get to that briefly. Donald Trump is just as bad as ever. He also seems to be losing his mind. I actually haven't seen most of these clips. I only saw like the first few minutes of the speech when I was trying to work out the extent to which I could tolerate sitting there. And again, a lot of it is pretty similar. Wait, Vaush, you can get 10K in gold for free. Just go back to the video. Get up to $10,000 in precious metals for free with qualifying purchase. Text America to 989898. Hold on. Don't these like auto text things usually have 5 numbers, not 6? Like every time I've ever seen text blank at this number, like for a city function or whatever, it's always 5 numbers, not 6. They're called short codes. I don't feel like I've ever seen 6 before. Whatever, maybe I'm just tripping.
I love studying the, if you take a look, I mean, the wars, I don't know what it is. The Civil War was so fascinating, so horrible. It was so horrible, but so fascinating. It was, I don't know, it was just different. I just find it.
All the video footage that I could find of him speaking, by the way, he looked pretty blurry. You saw just now, we were looking at Biden in 1080p. Now, Biden looked like shit, but Donald Trump, this looks like 360p. Like, it looked really bad. I looked around for video footage. Sorry, 1080i, thank you. I looked around video footage. It seems like it is just this bad. I mean, I'll show you what seems to be the original source for this. Hold on. I think I saw this from Forbes. Trump speech last day. Rolling Stone. Where was the full that I saw? You can see how bad this video quality is. Here we go. CNN News 18. Hold on.
Oh, they have 37
This is 10 hours long, which means that they've looped the footage.
7 days there. I just heard now. I say, give me updates on that. 37.
Yeah, this isn't HD. Also, the audio is coming in mostly through the left ear. Have you noticed that this has happened for the past few Trump speeches? Like, this isn't a fluke. The past few times that we've watched a Trump speech, rally, whatever else, the audio's been shit, the video's been shit. Like, it genuinely looks incredibly scuffed, you know? You'd think they're just so budget. Do you think that, like, Trump has his loyalist patriot holding a magnet up near the press booth so that it fuzzes the camera and people can't see how fucking bad he looks? You know? They're like, they're doing, like, the softening effect a little bit. It's like face tuning. Look at this video quality, man. Jesus.
I'm so attracted to seeing it. So many mistakes were made. See, there was something I think could have been negotiated, to be honest with you. I think you could have negotiated that. All the people died. So many people died. You know, that was the disaster. If you got hit by a bullet in the leg, you were essentially going to die or lose the leg. That's why you had so many people, no legs, no arms. If you got hit in the arm or the leg, it meant you were up because the infection, gangrene. It was just such a, you know, sort of a horrible time. But I was thinking to myself, because I was reading something, and I said, this is something that could have been negotiated.
Also, a couple of things I want you to pay attention to. Mother is definitely on drugs at the moment. I don't know what. It's not too uncommon for powerful people to take some kind of upper before a speech, but he's really leaning on it. First of all, you can just tell that he looks hollowed out. But he's also talking a lot faster than he normally does, and you can hear his lips smacking. He is definitely leaning on it more than he normally does. Okay, that is for damn sure. All right, I guess he and Biden both cooked up something fierce.
You know, it was just for all those people to die, and they died viciously. That was a vicious, vicious war. And in many ways, look, they're all this nothing nice about it. But boy, that was a tough one for our country. But I think it's Abraham Lincoln. Of course, if he negotiated it, you probably wouldn't even know who Abraham Lincoln was. He would have been president, but he would have been president. He wouldn't have been the Abraham Lincoln. Would have been different, but that would have been okay. It would have been a thing that, and I know it very well. I know the whole process that they went through, and they just couldn't get along. And that would have been something that could have been negotiated, and they wouldn't have had that problem. But it was a hell of a time.
What is he waffling about? That is an excellent question. Again, I've watched plenty of Trump speeches. He's definitely different in this one. There is some brain zappery going on at the moment. Like, a lot of it is also him talking quickly, you know? The ability to speak quickly and to enunciate quickly when you generally can't. I mean, you could just be on a good day, but like, you know? Oh, also, you know, he's speaking on the Civil War here, which is the clip I was looking for. This one? Oh, yeah. So Nikki Haley, that's one of the more quote-unquote moderate GOP candidates running in the primary, getting a lot of heat lately for doing the states' rights bullshit. You know, what is the Civil War about? And she was like, well, you know, it's complicated, that kind of bullshit. Here's Trump.
I don't want to because she also said, you know, they asked her about the Civil War. Why did it start? How did it start? She didn't use the word slavery, which was interesting. I don't know that it's going to have an impact, but you know, I'd say slavery is sort of the obvious answer. As opposed to about 3 paragraphs of bullshit. She just talked. Nobody knew what she was saying.
Slavery is the obvious answer. 3 paragraphs bullshit. What a king. Uncritical support. No, unironically, yeah, phenomenal. This is the funny thing. Nikki Haley is from what, South Carolina? So, you know, a lot of foreigners think this is an exaggeration, but fully, like, if you are in the South, in America, there's a decent chance your high school textbook will do the lost cause thing at you. Like, there are a significant number of Americans who are educated in school on the idea that it was a states' rights issue. The War of Northern Aggression. Keep in mind, the South began the war by firing on Fort Sumter. The idea that it was the other way around, propaganda campaign by ass-paying Southerners. Donald Trump, New York liberal. Really, though, like, Donald Trump, for all his biases, and he's a racist man, Donald Trump would not have been educated in an environment where people were giving him that, were spoon-feeding that bullshit, you know? For all of his biases, he's not a Confederate. That's just not an alignment he has. He is like a proper coastal elitist. So for him to be so racist generally, but then Nikki Haley, you know, does the lost cause bullshit, and he's like, I want to watch it again.
I don't want to because she also said, you know, they asked her about the Civil War. Why did it start? How did it start? She didn't use the word slavery, which was interesting. I don't know that it's going to have an impact, but, you know, I'd say slavery is sort of the obvious answer.
Yeah,
Supposed to about 3 paragraphs of bullshit.
It's so good. It's so good. I love it. Majority of Southerners think the Confederate flag is a sign of bigotry. Yeah, this really surprised me. I saw it like earlier from Shark, because that's what you've linked from Shark. I'm a boy. Majority of Southerners now view the Confederate flag as a racist symbol. Poll finds guys. It only took like 150 years, but at long last, 50.1% of Southerners in America denounce the Confederate flag. Let's go. This is from 2020, but you know, still. All right. So anyway, great Trump bit. Thank you, Trump. Let's go on with the clip show.
10 times better than the same thing with Eric's. How about Ivanka? Ivanka just wanted to help people get jobs. I said, I'll put you in the United Nations, and you'll be ambassador.
He's so sweaty. He looks really weird. He almost looks like, and I'm not joking. I mean, I know he's not, but he almost looks like a Trump impersonator. He looks like an old, like skinnier, like he's lost weight, white guy. Like his hairpiece doesn't even seem to be like a part of him. It just looks like there's a smudge in the camera up here. You know, you can see him without his hairpiece here very clearly. It just looks like a bald, you know, old man. A shell of his former self. Well, you know, Biden has always had an issue with stammering that is exacerbated with the fact that he's ancient. Donald Trump literally was on TV. Donald Trump is more charismatic than Biden by far, but he's just as old. You know, one of the biggest things holding Trump back here is his energy levels. He's dealing with a bunch of like very serious court cases against him, some of which could put him in jail for the rest of his life. He has to manage that while managing his campaigns. He's out of money. Rudy Giuliani's out of money. There are people flipping on him every day. I don't cover it because I can't cover it all, but every day, like, more bad news trickles down to him from his advisors as they hear about what's going on in this court case or another. This person testified, this person testified. Honestly, Vaush, given the amount of work and stress he's under, his energy is impressive. Yeah, it is. You know, I think that only a coked up New York billionaire with a history in television could possibly withstand this amount of pressure. And hey, listen, he is. But there are limits, you know? I mean, this is what happens pretty often too with like really go-getter old people, which is they keep it going longer than you think, but they just wither at a point, you know? That like past a point, there's just some barrier to their health or their energy levels, and they just start to wither, you know? And again, man's like 80, it was 78, 79, whatever, you know, in that ballpark. It's because he's vaxxed. Yeah, he also does have the Fauci ouchie, so it could be that. It's weird. Just looks. I want to see him in HD. You know, I want to see him in HD. This is all like blurry Trump footage. Give me the proper stuff. Trump is now attacking E. Jean Carroll, who he was found liable of sexually abusing from the stump in Iowa. Oh, yes, this is the woman he lost the court case against.
It doesn't look good. You have a jury. If I don't go there, they're there. If you don't go, I sort of felt I should be there. He said, sir, you shouldn't be there.
Oh, he's also very visibly propping himself up against the podium. You can see it. Look at how his arms are settled. This pose can only suggest that. I saw this as well. You've probably seen this. There was a photo that made the way around a little bit ago, but in order to keep him upright while he's talking in front of a podium, there's like a little slanted. Why can't I find this Trump foot cushion? Why I thought this would be easy to find. Oh, here we go. Is this it? He's got a little foot cushion down here. Mind you, not a bad thing to have if you have a standing desk or whatever. I'm not impugning the practice, but it's he seems to be using it just for the, you know? Okay, you know how Donald Trump stands? Where he does like the this thing where you know what I mean, right? Where he like he does that weird like hips forward, shoulders back kind of thing. If you were heavy like he is, and he does it forward. Oh, so he does like yeah, like the yeah with his hips like back like that. He has his gat out for the Rizzler, right? The point I'm trying to make is that he has a lot of weight pushing forward, and if you were tall and heavy like Trump is, and old and weak like Trump is, I think the concern would be, especially as you got older and weaker, falling forward. I think the reason he has these under the front of his feet and not the whole foot is because he's not looking for cushioning. He's looking for something that his feet brace against to help him not stumble forward. He's also bracing against the podium here. Again, look at his arms. That's pretty bad. You know, I'm not trying to read too much into it, but I don't know how else you could read it. That pretty plainly seems to be what's happening. Oh yeah, this. See, If you're old and weak and standing like this, all I'm saying is there has to be at least some risk of you falling forward. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Yeah, see, I can't mimic this pose. I don't know why he stands like this. He does. I don't know why he does. I doesn't that hurt? Yeah, it would hurt me. I like you like it. It's I can't. It's not good. Your center of balance is off. I don't know.
This trial is bullshit. He used that term. He said, "You should not be there, sir. This is beneath you." That's the term he used, beneath. So I didn't go there, and they found me not guilty of the one charge, the big charge, but guilty of stuff I never.
He is right now at a rally talking about a civil case of sexual abuse that he lost. This is a case. This was the one where he pointed at a woman in a photo and said, "Oh, that was her," and it was actually his wife or something. Like he couldn't tell the difference between his wife at the time and the lady, if I recall. It's that one. Apparently, this posture might be a sign of dementia. Really? Huh? Is that true? I mean, this looks like a boomer meme. I don't know if this is true. Repetitive. Ah, well, that's why we're not watching the full thing.
Never met this. I never saw this woman except 25 years ago. There's a picture of her and her husband, who was a nice guy. He was a newscaster. He was an African American, and she called him an ape in her book. And the judge, who's radical left, and a Clinton judge, radical left, said you're not allowed to use that in the trial. And other things. They had a dress like Monica Lewinsky. They said, we have a dress.
Again, to be clear, he is at one of a fairly rare campaign rally that he does. He doesn't do anywhere near as many as he did 4 years ago. And he is dedicating time to talk about a case that he lost and had to pay out for because he sexually abused a woman. That's what he's talking about. That's what he chose to bring up and is talking about.
So I said, all right. Use it. It's sort of gross, right? Use it. Because I didn't do anything. I never saw this woman, other than they have a picture standing on a reception line where it's a celebrity. I'm shaking hands or something with hundreds and hundreds of people. That's the only picture they have. They said, so the dress. So I said, you know.
He's making weird faces, don't you think? I know that we're looking at this with low resolution and these are like in between frames, but I feel like I don't often see him make these faces. You know? I don't know. Maybe, yeah, I don't know, man. Is he constipated? No, I think he's coked the up. I think that the uppers that politicians usually take in situations like this, he took more. You know?
Yeah. Use it.
And look at how out of breath he is.
Something never happened, and you say, we have to go through this. I said, use the dress. And the judge wouldn't allow it. It turned out there was nothing in the dress. The judge wouldn't allow it because he knew that there was nothing on the dress.
Or he could be drunk. No, not drunk.
Because the judge is a radical Democrat in New York. And so you go through it.
He looks like freaky, man. Like I genuinely, I know that everyone will play it up for the content or whatever, but like sincerely, it does really feel like he's withering quite a bit. Oh, now we get to hear about China.
I had a great relationship with Putin. The fake news hates when I say that. He shouldn't be dealing with Putin. He said he gets along with Putin. Somebody asked me, is President Xi of China? Now, he controls 1.4 billion people ruthlessly. Ruthlessly. No games, right? They said, is President Xi of China a brilliant man? I said, yes, he is. He's a brilliant man. Next day, Trump said President Xi is brilliant. I said, yeah, I did. They want me to say...
So, okay, I'm not making it up. Listen to how he talks.
Man, next day, Trump said President Xi is brilliant. I said, yeah, I did.
Ooh. That, like, real, like... Actually, he's like, he's gone, dude. Holy, he's slurring. That's not stimmy. I mean, even when I'm feeling pretty energetic, I slur my words sometimes if you talk a lot. I mean, he has to be on uppers. There's no way he'd be on downers or whatever, but like, holy shit, dude. I don't think he'll survive to be president again. I actually think there's a greater likelihood of him not being able to be president for health reasons than Biden. Biden's marginally older, but Biden, has the best health care in the universe, for one. And B, Biden's just a better decision maker, I feel. I feel like Biden would be a lot more moderate and considerate when it comes to managing his health. Trump seems like he'd be more inconsiderate or take more risks. Also, it does factor in here, certainly. Biden's skinny, Trump's fat. Wears on you, wears in your heart. I don't know, man. He's like, listen.
Trump said President Xi is brilliant. I said, yeah, I did. They want me to say, no, he's not a very smart guy. You know, he just runs 1.4 billion people with an iron fist. It's crazy. And they have to straighten out.
I can't get over it.
Next day in the Trump said President Xi is brilliant.
Jesus. He does look like he's losing weight. Oh, he's lost a lot of weight. Like, hold on. Trump 2020 picture. Just give me a nice compare. I know, again, we're looking at an older, not older, but we're looking at a incredibly low resolution video. The difference is massive. Again, I know, just the I mean, you can tell just from looking straight on, the neck is a lot thinner now. The lines in his face, the creases. He has definitely lost weight. I mean, good. Like to be clear, I hope he dies. I'm not. This is so I'm sort of confronting a morbid reality here. I'm not in any way sympathetic. You know, he's had a nice life of being a billionaire and children. Okay, it's time to move on to the hereafter, where he'll be, I don't know, tortured for eternity by Lucifer. I don't care.
I said, yeah, I did.
Yeah,
they want me.
I said, yeah, I did. Yeah.
Run the East Coast. That we have to do it the old-fashioned way. We have to run the East Coast like I did in 2016, like I did also in 2020. But you know, we didn't quite get a couple of those states that we won by a lot. We were doing so well in remember Pennsylvania. We were up by like 900,000 votes with. I think it was 900,000 votes with 73% of the vote. I think if I would have lost every vote, I would have won Pennsylvania.
That breath he took, Lamau.
We're up by like 900,000 votes with. I think it was 900,000.
He's out of breath, yeah. Is it just me, or does his jacket look too big for his body? No, it's because he's bracing himself against the podium, see? He has both of his hands under the line of the podium that you can see right there, and he's gripping the underside. It's possible that they've put something there for him to hold, but whatever it is, it's probably kind of like a handle, because the way his elbow here is rotated back, see? Like, this shoulder's pushed up because he's putting down a different angle. It's very strange. I've never seen somebody give a speech at a podium looking like this. It's not too uncommon for a person speaking at a podium to put a hand on the podium or put their elbow on or lean on it or whatever, but he seems to have his hands braced against the back of the podium, like facing him, grabbing it so he doesn't fall forward. He looks rough. Yeah, he does. I guess that's the main thing that I'm getting from this, you know? Sometimes it feels kind of unsatisfying. You want to, like, the analysis has to be big and political. And sure, I mean, there is that. But a lot of what I'm getting from this is just he's dying. You know, he's always been prone to the rambling and the, you know... I mean, I do too, so I can't really blame him for that, but...
1,000 votes with 73% of the vote. I think if I would have lost every vote, I would have won Pennsylvania. I love Pennsylvania. And all of a sudden, there was a mistake. Like 3:02 in the morning.
Alternative front-facing speech image for comparison. Oh yeah, you can see it pretty clearly. That's pretty straightforward.
Oh, we just happened to find about 1 million votes. Oh, look, we just found, they're tied. And then you lose it by a couple of votes.
Hunter
You know,
Biden
these
ticker on
guys.
the bottom. Oh shit, did I miss the Hunter Biden ticker? Oversight Committee kicks off new year ready to hold Hunter Biden in contempt. What is this? RSBN? What am I blanking? What is RSBN? What insane Nazi news site am I looking at this from? What is this? Right Side Broadcasting? I don't think we've ever seen anything from this outlet. Is this... Wait. Is Trump so desperate that even institutions like this are getting space to record at his rallies? Like, I don't know, man. If you're... Jesus, there's only so much room in the spot that you can put the cameras and still get a front-facing view of Trump. You know, they usually limit how many... They limit how... You can see it. Hold on. 1 second. Obviously, it varies like location. Trump speech camera pit. Why did this not immediately give me camera area? That can't possibly be a tough thing to search. I'm not seeing it. Oh, you can't take pictures of the camera area because that's where the cameras are. Cameras in crowd. Try press pool. Oh shit, you're right. Press pool. Nope. Well, you're just gonna have to imagine it, okay?
Oh, look, we just found, oh, they're tied. And then you lose it by a couple of votes. You know, these guys, I'm telling you, if they put the genius into running our country.
Thank you. Here we go. See, right here up in the front, you have the select crowd. Yeah, the media pen. There we go. See, this is where they keep the cameras. See, they've got like limited range and space for. I don't know. I've RSBN, dude.
It would be, I probably wouldn't be running. I'd say the country's a fine-tuned machine, but they don't. They're evil. They're basically. It would be, I probably wouldn't be running. I'd say the country's a fine-tuned machine, but they don't. They're evil. They're basically evil people. That we have to do in our country. It would be, I probably wouldn't be running. I'd say the country's a fine-tuned machine.
Sheesh. I want to hear more of it.
It's a world we want to protect. Our country. And you know, those domes are starting to work. I didn't like it when Ronald Reagan suggested it because we didn't have the technology. We do have the technology now. And we're going to build a giant dome over our country to protect us from a hostile source. And I think it's a great thing. And it's going to all be made in the United States. And that's something that I consider productive. You know, when
apparently Nick Fuentes used to be a host at RSBN. Really? Holy shit, no kidding. Like all the way back in 2017, like way back. Oh my God. It's like 5. Jesus Christ. Well, there you go, I guess.
Watch our guys operate those things. It's unbelievable. Missile coming in. These geniuses sit down. Most of them are, you know, they're from MIT, but they sit down, bing, 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 boom. It's gone. It's amazing. I think we could use it. Do you like that? Yes. I mean, isn't that better than giving other countries billions of dollars?
Is he talking to a room with 5 people? That sounded like a mid-sized, like, elementary school classroom responding to what he said. What? Did you hear how close the audience responded to? That wasn't just, like, distant audience applause. There's some dude 5 feet in front of Trump. Be like, yeah.
Billions. We're going to give the world. We want something that I consider productive. You know, when I watch our guys operate those things, it's unbelievable. Missile coming in. These geniuses sit down. Most of them are, you know, they're from MIT, but they sit down, bing, 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 boom. It's gone. It's amazing. I think we could use it. Do you like that? Yes. I mean, isn't that?
Yeah. It's just from the other guys in the room. Timestamp for crowd size. Oh, dude. This is worse than I thought. This is also from Right Side Broadcasting. Holy shit. Trump skips on the rallies for months and months. Doesn't go to the debates. He does a rally. And this? I knew it was indoors. I mean, you can tell from the audio. But Jesus, I thought it was like, it's a classroom. What? Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. No, kid, look at him. He's in front of, like, a little PowerPoint. Like, this little, like, drawdown. Where was this? A school? Jesus. Is this the press pit? There's, like, one guy? How many cameras are here? Do you remember how big his rallies used to be? Back in 2019, 2020, wait, not 2019. Back in 2020, 2021, 2022, because he kept doing them even after he was president. Okay, dude, is the press pit really just okay? That's a camera, I think. That's a camera, but it's a phone.
Special. Hello, Iowa. Happy New Year. We're gonna have.
Oh, this is a little more HD. Incredibly.
Great year. We gotta win.
Actually, this is a lot more HD.
Gotta win. We gotta win. 9 days from now, the people of this state are going to cast the most important vote of your entire lives. 777s. It's a big white body jet.
Okay, here we go. Now we're doing the speech proper. Wait.
People, it's an impossibility to even think about it. But when you ask them, like they bought 100 Boeing 777s, it's a big white body jet. I say, how did you finance that? Finance? They didn't know what the word finance meant. Finance? We have cash. When they do projects, massive projects, they have all cash, they have oil. We have more oil than they do. We were going to pay off our debt. We were all started. We were ready to rock. You know, we were filling up the strategic reserve, which he, by the way, has brought now down to the lowest level in history. It's the lowest. These are these massive salt mines under different states, mostly Louisiana. Massive salt mines, and they hold the oil. It's natural to them. They don't have to do anything. They put a hole in the ground. They pour the stuff in.
Protect yourself from the 87,000 new IRS agents. Settle your back tax. 87,000 wild hogs in my backyard. They're coming. They're coming for all your goddamn undeclared sources of income. They're coming to ask you very pointed questions about some of these business deductions you made in your previous filing.
And it's so much money with that oil. We're going to send it all over. It's going to be great.
He's dying. Look at the energy difference.
Looking down on you right now. You know that, okay? You know that, right? That's really something. But Matt has been a great friend. Somebody told me the other day, and we have these stores in New York. You'd love to go. I used to love to go to them. You did like drugstores and grocery stores. Everything's now got glass on top. You want to buy aspirin, and you have to call a clerk, which takes you an hour.
This is true.
They come over, they open it. They open a door, and they give you and then they close it. Because if they leave the shelves open, the place will be raided. I mean, would anybody even
The suit
think
looks
that?
too big for him. Well, it makes me think that he's lost weight. Like, that's the only thing that I can think of. Even with his shoulders at rest next to him, it looks baggy. The man's had tailored suits for decades and decades. The only thing I can think of is just that he's lost weight.
That's possible. Sometimes it's different from where you normally vote, so you have to go and make sure you.
I
get
thought
it
it was
right.
just. I thought it was just because of how he was bracing himself against the podium. His suits have always felt too big. Yeah, but like more so now than then. I feel tailored. Well, he does. He does have them tailored. It's a known element.
Better than giving other countries billions of dollars,
Billions.
No, that was one of the dumbest wars ever. Iraq and Iran were the same. They were the same power.
I'm ready to learn about the Iran-Iraq War. Let's learn. I'm ready. This is my research stream.
They had Saddam Hussein, and I will say they hung that sucker, and he looked at him and he spit in their face. You know, he wasn't begging, he wasn't saying, "Please don't do this to me." He spit right in their face. But you know, tough guy. But you had Iraq.
Didn't we find him in a hole? He really looks for any excuse he can to say, like, you got to hand it to this guy who's a brutal dictator. You got to hand it to him.
And Iran, and they were almost identical. For 1,000 years, with different names, they've been
I'm learning so much in this research stream that I'm doing on the Iran-Iraq War.
fighting each other. And one would move 3 feet this way, and then they'd move 3. But we didn't have to do anything because they basically, then they'd stop. They'd be exhausted after 3, 4 years. Then they'd start. This went on for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Then we go in and we obliterate one side. And now the other side's a great power. We should have never done that. We should have never gone into the Middle East.
Wait, but in the Iran-Iraq War, there was a lot of Western support for Iraq, and we denied their war crimes at a UN tribunal, and we did the opposite. We did the opposite. We supported Iraq. And then Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait, and then there was the first Gulf War, and we let Saddam Hussein win. Oh, sorry, not win, live. We let him live, which we probably shouldn't have. And then we invaded again.
We should have never gone into the Middle East. And we didn't need to. We were in the Middle East for one very strong reason. We needed their oil. But we have more oil than they have. But we didn't use it. And
I think he's talking Sunni Shia. Yeah, but even then, like, not really. Also, Iraq is majority Shia, right? Pigeon. I love these clips, man.
Obamacare is a catastrophe. Nobody talks about it. You know, without John McCain, we would have had it done. But John McCain, for some reason, couldn't get his arm up that day. Remember? He goes that like that. That was the end of that. We almost had it, but we're going to make it
big talk for someone visibly leaning against a podium, but at the same time, it's a good bit. Thank you.
much less expensive for the people, not necessarily for the government, for the people. And it's going to be much better care. And it may be an offshoot of Obamacare. We may add on to it. I'm not looking for any credits. I'm just looking to get much less expensive and much better health care because it's not good. It's not good. It never was good. We kept it going. We did a good job.
Didn't he make this promise before? Yes. The entire as soon as Obama passed Obamacare, the entire GOP was talking about how they were going to repeal it the first chance they got. And for like over a decade now, the GOP has been like, yeah, once we repeal Obamacare, and they never made an alternative plan. Not once. Donald Trump didn't. The GOP didn't. They just don't want you to have health care. Like, the GOP health care is just you pay whatever you're asked to, and that's it. There's no plan. They haven't even tried. They haven't even, like, pretended to have a plan.
Job of I had a choice: let it rot and let it do terribly, and everybody, or make it as good as it can be. And we made it as good. It was the right thing to do. But as president, I could have destroyed it just by not feeding it.
You were wait. You didn't just lose in 2020. You won in 2016. What do you mean? You were president.
Did the right thing, but we really have to get much better health care in our country. On day one, Obama.
Well, that's good.
In our country. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate.
Wow. Man, the GOP really is lost, isn't it? This entire time, we haven't heard the crowd cheer once. And then he says the magic words. It's all culture war stuff. There's no other issue that they care about. There's nothing. Like, dead, empty party. Nothing. You know?
Racial, sexual, or political content onto our children. All right? Amazing. It's amazing that you have to even say these things, you know. Who would have
literal Pavlovian response? Yeah, no, literally. Like these NPCs, these like 80 IQ troglodytes in the audience legitimately don't like know or care about politics. Is this in Iowa? I'm going to be very racist against the Midwest for a bit, okay? The fact that these people managed to dress themselves for this, okay, given the, I guess I would say, cognitive disposition of the state that they live in, okay, is impressive, all right? They dedicated all their brain cells to that, and that they don't have any left. It's just the code words now. Critical race theory isn't the new thing DEI, right? Diversity, equity, inclusion. You should have said that too. You know, really fold it in. Dress, please. It's Iowa. I'm sorry. Sheathe themselves. All right.
Ever think, you know, your children go into surgery, you don't even know if they can. So they're operating on your daughter. They are. Can you believe this? They're taking over. It's just in our country on day one.
They've taken over, sis.
You know who has the oil right now?
Did we make it out? Did we watch all the clips that I wanted to go through? As a kind of, we can understand why, like, we've gotten the vibe. There is, however, I've saved the best for last, the single most important clip. We haven't looked at it yet. Some of you know what it is. Critically important.
It didn't work. They had an almost $1 billion cost overrun on the magnetic elevators. Think of it, magnets. Now, all I know about magnets is this. Give me a glass of water. Let me drop it on the magnets. That's the end of the magnets. Why didn't they use... It didn't work. They had an almost $1 billion cost overrun on the magnetic elevators. Think of it, magnets. Now, all I know about magnets is this. Give me a glass of water. Let me drop it on the magnets. That's the end of the magnets. Why didn't they use John Deere? Why didn't they bring in the John Deere people? Do you like John Deere? I like John Deere.
Am I having a stroke? Yeah, I guess... I don't know if he misspoke, but given who he is, it's genuinely possible that Donald Trump thinks that magnets become demagnetized if they get wet. It's not impossible that he believes that. You know, like it's him. He thinks that exercise shortens your lifespan. I don't really know. I mean, if they're electromagnets, maybe, I don't know. I think he's just talking about regular magnets. You know, I mean, electric water couldn't even touch electromagnets anyway, right? Because they got to operate at like 5 billion degrees below. I think he's talking about magnets. Like, I think that he thinks that if you just took a regular magnet. Wait, am I not thinking of electromagnet? I'm thinking of the other thing. I was thinking of superconductors. My bad. Okay, I don't think he was talking about pouring water on electromagnet. I don't think he was talking about that, guys. No, see, that's me. I think he might just. I think he might just believe that. I don't know. Trump's senility is getting to Vaush. It seems it's infectious. You know, the joy is infectious. In all seriousness, the only real like thing of interest here. There are two things of interest here that you should internalize. The first important one is that Republicans essentially have no party platform. There is a vague anger and discontent they feel that gets triggered by certain code words: trans, DEI, CRT. But that's it. The average Republican voter might respond to this in the same way that the muscles of a dead man might move if you subject them to an electrical current. But there's no thought happening there. There's no choice. It's just Pavlovian, as some chatter said. So yeah, keep that in mind. The GOP is a rudderless boat. Oh yeah, fully. It's all collective psychosis. You could talk to them; they wouldn't even know why they feel that way. They wouldn't even be able to describe their feelings or why. So that's one thing. The second thing is that I think that Trump's health is going to become more and more of an issue as time goes on. The man is under a huge amount of stress. And what's more, unlike Biden, who's surrounded by, White House staff, Donald Trump consistently surrounds himself with sycophants and yes men who are likely to act outside his good interest. Do you think Donald Trump is surrounded by a bunch of like well-meaning do-gooders who are constantly advising him on what's good for his health? No, of course not. He's surrounded by the same lunatic grifters that he's always surrounded himself with. And, I think there's a very high possibility that he just burns himself through. Now, even burnt through, he could still end up running and winning. It's not like we live in a fair system, but we'll have to see. If Donald Trump ends up dying or becoming so unhealthy that he can't even run, that he can't even, get kind of like weekend at Bernie's across the finish line, I think that the Republicans get a guaranteed loss. Even if Biden died and Kamala Harris ran in his stead, it would be a guaranteed win for Democrats. The Republicans are so far away from having a party that can exist without Trump. They're so dependent. Oh, I know Will from PA. I hate Kamala Harris, but Republicans need Trump. Now, Vivek just picks up mantle? No, absolutely not. 0%. Vivek exists right now and has prominence right now purely because he's soaking up attention that would otherwise go to Trump if he attended those debates. He has no shot right now as an actual Republican presidential candidate. They just like him there because he's like the little Keebler elf in Santa's stead. Wouldn't the Republican vice president take over if Trump wins? What vice president? Who's Trump's vice presidential candidate? That's another big issue, by the way. The fact that even having been a former president, Donald Trump doesn't have... Yeah, Carrie Lake is an option. People have said Vivek, but I think that's incredibly unlikely. I think it's almost certainly going to be a woman because he's trying to shore up the lost votes from the Roe v. Wade revocation. He doesn't want a VP. It doesn't work that way. You got to have a VP. He tried to hang the last one. So, yeah, that's true. Probably a bit of a deterrent. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll have to see. It really does feel like a rudderless boat, Eyes on this space.